Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the SpaceX 2 pre-launch news conference. We're here live at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Everything is on track for the launch of the Falcon 9 rocket with its Dragon capsule tomorrow morning at 10:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're here today to talk about the preparations for the mission and the mission itself. We're happy to be joined today by Mr. Mike Seppardini, the NASA International Space Station Program Manager, and by Gwynne Shotwell, the president of SpaceX, and Joel Tumbiolo, launch weather officer from the 45th Weather Squadron at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station here in Florida. And we'll start off with opening comments. Mr. Seppardini.
Well, good afternoon. It's always good to be in Florida because it means we're about to launch another vehicle to the International Space Station. So we're happy to be here. Quite a bit of work has been done to get to this point, both by the SpaceX team and by the ISS team on the ground and the crew on orbit. We've spent quite a bit of time over the last few weeks reconfiguring the station to be ready for the birthing of the Dragon spacecraft. We did a major software upgrade on board, which probably followed along because you heard about a comm loss, which was the result of a momentary hiccup in our process of upgrading our software. But was really never a big concern. It's just whenever you can't communicate with the crew, of course, we become a little concerned and want to get back to that configuration as soon as we can. But we've overcome that. Over 1 million lines of code were upgraded, and including the software for the arm that's going to capture the Dragon. So that's been done. The RWS system itself is up and configured. It's been checked out. The arm is in position, in its grapple position for when Dragon approaches, so that's ready to go. And the systems to communicate with the Dragon have been checked out and are activated and just waiting for berthing. So on board, we're ready to go for the launch of the Dragon and are looking forward to it. This crew, as you know, that's going to do the work of capturing some of this crew will depart halfway through the birth stage of the Dragon, and so that'll be unique for us. It's the first time we've done that. It's not a particularly challenging event other than the analysis you have to do when you have another spacecraft attached to the station and you have a Soyuz depart, but that's perfectly within our experience base. But it'll be unique that we bring Dragon up with 6 crew and depart with 3. In addition, on this flight, which we have talked about in the previous science briefing, we have research that's going to come up on Dragon. We're going to do the research on board the station. It's going to take us about 22 days to do this materials research, and then we're going to put it back in the Dragon and return it home. So this becomes a driver for how long we remained attached with the Dragon spacecraft for this particular mission. So what that shows you is this unique vehicle has become a very integral part of how we operate and utilize the International Space Station, and so we're looking forward to this one coming up here soon. So with that, I'll hand it over to Gwynne, and she can tell you all about Dragon's readiness.
Thanks, Mike. So I can't tell you how excited I am to be back here in Florida, because as Mike said, that means we're launching. We're a launch company. We love to launch. Very excited to be ready and prepared to fly the second operational mission to the International Space Station. It is the third, with the first being a demo flight. I wanted to give you a little bit more detail than currently in your press kit on the timeline. We have begun late load operations. They started at 24 hours prior to liftoff, and we continue to do so until the last late load of cargo into Dragon is at L-8 hours, launch minus 8 hours. We plan to lift off tomorrow morning at 10:10 local and have a 3-minute first stage flight. At 3 minutes and 52 seconds into the flight, you should hopefully see on the web nose cone jettison occur, and then the second stage. We should have 3 minutes after liftoff, we'll have first stage flight, ignite the second stage. 3 minutes and 52 seconds into the flight, Dragon nose cone will jettison. 9 minutes and 11 seconds after liftoff, we will have second stage engine cutoff. 9 minutes and 46 seconds after liftoff, we should see Dragon separate. About 11 minutes and 45 seconds into the flight, Dragon solar array should deploy, which is really the kickoff of the on-orbit mission. About 2.5 hours into the flight, we'll start doing the first burn of Dragon, as well as opening the GN&C bay door, which allows the grapple fixture to be exposed and demonstrates a critical readiness piece for us to approach and then berth with the International Space Station. We'll continue to do a series of burns for the next 18 hours, and this mission is a little bit unique in that the phasing between Dragon and the ISS is such that we get there in less than 24 hours. So this is a very quick launch to berth mission for us, and we're quite excited about that. 2 days after liftoff, the astronauts should open the Dragon hatch and begin unloading the cargo, executing the science, reloading the Dragon capsule for a return home on the 25th of March. Orbital insertion targeted 200 by 325 kilometers. In case we have an engine anomaly this time, we can drop off Dragon in as low as 200 by 200, so that should be nominal as well. And we're carrying up. By the way, you might see difference in numbers between NASA and other sources on the cargo. We carry cargo for NASA plus all their support equipment and their packing, so that's why there'd be difference in the numbers that you see. But we are carrying up about 2,700 pounds of stuff for NASA. The pressurized cargo plus its packing is 677 kilos or 1,493 pounds. The unpressurized cargo, we're carrying up grapple bars for the first time. They go up in the trunk, which is that, it looks like an inner stage that sits below Dragon. The grapple bars, it's an interesting, not only is it a first flight of external unpressurized cargo, SpaceX actually contributed to the cargo pack itself. The grapple bars are provided to us by NASA, built by one of their contractors. We built the support equipment to attach it into the SpaceX trunk. In addition, there's 2 grapple bars. You hear bars, so there's 2 of them. And SpaceX developed and tested the fixture, the structure that keeps those 2 together. So we'll have hardware on station in addition to Dragon after we remove the grapple bars. That's probably all I have to say as far as mission overview at this time, and then I look forward to your questions. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Gwen. Joel?
Good afternoon, everyone. Right now we are looking at very favorable conditions tomorrow morning for the liftoff. There are a couple minor issues that we're going to be tracking, but right now they do appear to be very minor issues. If I could get the satellite picture up on the monitor just to kind of illustrate what we're going to be watching. We had a frontal boundary move through Central Florida a couple days ago. You can see that line of clouds over extreme South Florida. That's where that frontal boundary is right now, and you can see the large area of clouds associated with it. The other thing we're going to be tracking right now, it's up in the northern plains of the U.S. It's an upper level piece of energy. It's going to be dropping south and southeast over the Gulf of Mexico over the next 24 hours. And when this system does move over the Gulf of Mexico, it could bring in a little bit of cloud cover. We're not anticipating any rain or anything of that nature. There will be a little bit of cloud cover associated with this feature, and we're going to be tracking this cloud cover to see if it would violate any of our natural and trigger lightning constraints. Now, get a little bit more specific. If this cloud cover, right now we're looking at one of our rules named the thick cloud rule. And quickly that cloud rule states that if clouds that are overhead, it's a flight through rule. If these clouds are 4,500 feet thick or greater, and any portion of those clouds are between where the freezing level is in the atmosphere and where the minus 20 degrees Celsius level is in the atmosphere, that would be a violation of our thick cloud rule. Now, what we're forecasting tomorrow for the freezing level is around 10,000 feet. And the minus 20 degrees Celsius level will be around 25,000 feet. So what we're going to be looking for, number one, is there going to be clouds over the flight path? And number two, will these clouds, any portion of these clouds, be between the 10,000 feet or freezing level and that minus 20 degrees Celsius level, which is going to be around 25,000 feet tomorrow? If a portion of those clouds are between those two levels, and that cloud is 4,500 feet thick, that would be a violation. Now again, it's a very, very minor concern, but that would be the only cloud-related issue that we'll be monitoring. But again, right now we're only, if I can go to the forecast charts, for the launch. Basically, we're going to be looking at 2 cloud decks. The first one is a scatter deck at 4,000 feet, and it's that second deck, the BKN, is a broken layer of clouds that bases around 14,000 feet. Now, it would be that layer of clouds that, if it's over the pad, greater than 4,500 feet thick, and between those 2 levels I mentioned earlier, that would be a violation. But again, it's very, very minor concern. We're going to have good visibility tomorrow. It's going to be breezy. The winds will be out of the northwest over the next few days, and it will be breezy into the low to mid-teens tomorrow morning, possibly up to 20 knots, but well below the liftoff constraint of 30 knots. So although it will be breezy, we're not anticipating the liftoff winds to be an extreme concern. Right now, I'm not expecting any weather per se as far as rain or thunderstorms, so we're good there. And the temperature at liftoff, it will be cooler, Florida standards, over the next few days. It's only going to be 60 degrees. Hate to say that for folks up in the north right now, but it's only going to be 60 degrees tomorrow morning at the beginning of the launch window, and there's only a 20% chance of a violation or 80% chance of good weather for tomorrow's liftoff, with a thick cloud rule and the liftoff winds the only 2 areas of minor concern. If we were to go into the 24-hour delay, it's virtually the same forecast. Still going to be looking at northwest winds. We still may have that cloud cover that I mentioned earlier over the state, and it would be the same thick cloud rule and liftoff winds that would be the minor concerns, and still only a 20% chance of a violation on a 24-hour delay if that were to be needed. But again, overall, weather looks good. Just a couple minor issues that we'll be tracking. Thank you.
All right, Joel, thank you. And we're ready to open it up for questions. In addition to our members of the news media, we're happy today to be joined by members of the NASA Social who are in the room here at Kennedy and ready to ask questions. So we'll take as many questions as we can, time permitting, and please make sure to wait for the microphone, state your name, your affiliation, and to whom you're addressing your question. And we'll start with Marcia Dunn.
Marcia Dunn, Associated Press. For Ms. Shotwell, I'm just wondering, looking ahead, when's the next Dragon launch to the space station? And for Mike, could you update on the schedule for Orbital Sciences and what they're hoping to achieve in the next few months?
CRS-3 is planned for late fall this year. It will be the first CRS mission that flies on the upgraded Falcon 9.
And see, our orbital friends had their test firing, or a hot fire test, successfully completed on Friday, and so they're headed towards an early April test flight, which puts a demo flight potentially in the early summer time frame. So that's what we're planning for.
Irene Potts with Reuters. For Gwen, are there any secondary payloads on board Celestis, Orbcomm?
No, I don't believe there's certainly no Orbcomm, and I don't believe there's any Celestis. No. This is all.
What was the determination of the engine issue with the CRS-1 flight? What was determined to be the cause?
Sure. There was a material flaw that went undetected in the jacket of the Merlin engine, resulting in a breach into the flight, causing depressurization of the combustion chamber. Then the flight computer recognized that depressurization, and then the commanded shutdown. The vehicle went and continued along its trajectory and did drop Dragon off in an orbit that allowed Dragon to get to the space station actually 30 minutes earlier than planned. So it was an extremely successful mission. And I want to point out that this vehicle has been designed to accommodate an engine out. And though you never necessarily want to see it happen, it's nice that we've demonstrated the vehicle as it was designed.
What was the material?
You know, I've got a very detailed report that's getting reviewed by State Department.